Right, in today's video I'm going to show you a little trick you can do if you've bought yourself one of these cheap little dial test indicators off of the internet or wherever. They're cheap as chips. They're a good little unit for beginners, and they're quite okay, they're quite accurate for most jobs. Sort of thing, if you're setting up the forge or truck, you've got to have something like this. And for the money, you can't complain. They're actually a copy of a Mitsu Toyo. They look very similar to a Mitsu Toyo, even to the point that some unscrupulous people on the internet mark them as Mitsu Toyo and sell them for $100 more than they're actually worth. Suckers get caught quite often. Anyway, getting away from that, that's your little unit, that's your mount. The mount's okay, it's quite good, it's nice and compact. But there's two things wrong with this unit, apart from the actual, getting away from the actual indicator itself. When you get these, you get a couple of little mounting shafts that screw into the little dovetail that goes onto the indicator. You get a fat one and then you get a skinny one. The fat one doesn't seem to fit anything that I've got. The skinny one is meant to go into this mount, which it does, and then you screw up the screw. The problem is that, look how wobbly it is, it's way too small. It wobbles around like hell, and although you screw the screw down, you know, it's okay, I suppose. There's still some movement there, you can feel it. And I mean, it's enough to be a nuisance. So I put up with that for quite a while, and then I thought, one day I thought, surely I can fix this up pretty easily without going a lot of trouble. So I looked around in my junk heap, and I found this beautifully polished ground chrome shaft, and I thought, that's great, that's exactly what I wanted to use, or it looks pretty close to being able to fit in this mount. So I'll try it and see how it goes. So put it in, it really fits nicely, a little bit of movement there but not much. It's a really quite a snug fit, so it's eminently suitable for making a replacement mounting shaft. In fact, while you're at it, it's so much of it, you can make up several shafts, which is what I've done. That's the shaft, it's the original shaft we started with, and here's a couple of extensions I've made, or mounts, which both come out of one shaft. And I mean, as simple as anything to make. All you do is just tap the same sort of thread. It's a metric thread. Tap the same sort of thread as on the original. I didn't actually measure it to tell you what it is, but you can easily do that. So it's metric, same size. The original's got a slot on the back, so you can tighten it. All you do is you do the same thing yourself, put a slot on the back of the one you made. So I made a short one, or one which is longer than the original, because that was a bit short anyway. And then I made a really long one. Simple. I mean, piece of cake. Now the question is, where do you get this beautiful shaft from, this finely polished ground chrome shaft? That's where you get it. Out of somebody's junk old Canon BJ inkjet printer. Whenever there's junk day on, people toss these out. For the score, you know, everybody's upgrading and getting the latest laser printer and all the rest of it. And the old bubble jet printers, the old BJs, they've been around for donkey's ages. So everybody's dumping them. And they're really not much good for anything, except that inside of them is that beautiful rail that we saw, and that's the actual rail there. That's the rail that the inkjet cartridge travels on. So to get accurate printing, that's got to be finely machined and ground. It's got to be very accurate, it's got to be straight, flat, which it is. So what you have to do is get yourself one of these old printers and break it apart, take out the rail. There's also another nice piece of steel in these as well, and that is the shaft that the rubber rollers go on. It's a beautiful piece of steel too, and you could make something useful out of that, say buying it. Good quality steel, machine steel. So while you're at it, rip that out as well. So of course, you know, if you're going to pull these cannons apart, you really should have the special factory cannon tool to disassemble these, and I've actually got one of those, and here it is here. It's basically the biggest mother of a screwdriver you could find in your toolbox, and all you do is you open her up. I'm not going to do this because this is my spare machine, but these things just clip together. You just put your screwdriver in between there and get brutal, and the thing will just fly apart, and anything that might come apart you just crush it. Crush the plastic and the vise without damaging your metal, of course. And after 10 minutes destruction, you finish up with these two good bits of steel. You then, basically, as I said, fire up your lathe, do a little bit of light machining. There's nothing to making them. 2 minutes work, you know, really. Cut a thread, cut the shaft, cut a thread, put a slot in the end, and you're good to go. Now, how good are they? Well, they're very good. They work beautifully. As I said, they're slightly undersized, but they're still way better than you get in the kit. And with your little indicator, put her on, tighten her up. I'll leave that finger tight. Stick it in your the mount. Look at that, no movement. That's really good. These are good little indicators. You just, you know, the same as the originals. You can reposition the tip for the correct angle to eliminate cosine error. So you can put it in like that, or you can also use the long shaft, which is really good because it means you can get into positions that you would normally have trouble being able to access. So you've got huge reach, and it's absolutely fantastic, you know. So you could mount it on the tail stop, the head stop, the carriage. You can get into all sorts of positions, whereas with the original fitting you're restricted. You have to get this mount right up close to whatever you're working on, and even though there might be a little bit of flexion of shaft that long, I mean, you're still going to get a fairly consistent reading to show your run out, which is basically all you're using these for. So once it's got a tension on it, well, it'll basically should give you a pretty accurate reading. So there you go. You can also actually take out the original mount, and you can put it in through here as well, and it will actually mount in that position. See, once again, so you can actually move it in or out in that mount there. To do that, you might have to just cut back that slot a bit so it will pull in properly, and you can also come in through the end. So once again, so there you go, these all go, and so there you go. There's a quick, easy modification to these good little kits you can get. Makes them a lot more useful, a lot easier to use. You can get into places with them really easily. Costs you nothing, so that's all you want. Grab yourself an old BJ bubble jet printer next time you see them on the side of the road. Rip it apart, get out the shaft, the rail, and you're good to go. So there you go. Another one of my little recycle jobs. I'm one of these guys that whenever I throw anything out or I pick something up, even if it's no good, I'll pull it apart just to see how it works and see what's inside that's useful. And it's amazing what is inside some of this stuff you can pick up for nothing. It's 99% plastic, but it's that last 1 or 2% that is the good stuff. And there you go, highly accurate steel, beautifully made. What more could you want? Okay, see you next time.